This is the plaintiff, Charles Sterbakoff. He says he was hired to troubleshoot and fix the defendant's business computer problems, and the guy is stepping him. He's been in business since 1964, and he's not about to be ripped off by the likes of the defendant, and is suing for the $2,040 he's owed. This is the defendant, Darren Kiley. He says his computer froze at his dry cleaning business, and his customer, the plaintiff, offered to take a look at it. Turns out the guy wasted his time. He's as incompetent as they come, fixed nothing, and he owes him nothing. He's accused of not computing.
All parties, please raise your right hands. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Leon is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Sterbakoff, you are suing Mr. Kiley for $2,040 that you say he owes you in computer tech services. How did you, Mr. Sterbakoff, how is it that you know Mr. Kiley and the dry cleaning services?
Last year, he had a problem with his computer. We came in and fixed it for him, and everything went smoothly then.
When did Mr. Kiley call you that became the subject of this stuff? This is in October and November of 2020, correct?
Yes. Well, can I give you a little background of his computer setup, which will help explain this? He has two computers so that they can operate on two customers at the same time. The computer that has the tag printer attached to it keeps all the data. It's kind of like a server. So if the other computer needs any information, it gets it from that computer. Okay. All of the equipment is obsolete. I recommend that he get a backup and investigate upgrading to a Windows 10 computer. He never did that. Now, what he called and told me was almost the worst case, that the server computer would not start properly. I went to his establishment that day. It was Saturday. Fortunately, the problem was the motherboard, the hard drive inside it where all the data is kept, was functioning properly. So I took the hard drive out of that computer, plugged it into my equipment, and retrieved all the data. So that's where we stood over the weekend. I worked on it Saturday and Sunday. I managed to get him a replacement computer.
Okay, so let's hold on. Let me stop you 1 second. So at that point, what you ended up charging him, and he paid, was you paid the $360 that he had asked for at that point, right, Mr. Kiley?
No, he has never paid me anything. No.
He's never paid you anything. Okay. So at that point, you say he owed you $360, and then you sold him a refurbished Dell desktop computer for how much?
Right.
$225?
$225.
All right. So then did that solve the problem?
No. What happened after that, I was able to get the data from the old computer, but the program that controlled it, that needed to be installed. We needed the XP program to run. You can't just go on the internet and buy it. It was a proprietary package of one company. So we called them up, and they hadn't been working on XP for some time either, but we installed the files and it was not working. When we tried it on Monday, we found out that we needed drivers for the printers. So the next day we went in and we finally got it so that one computer could connect to its own printer, but not to the other one. Went back on Wednesday, and an error message came up. And this error message said, well, it said that there was a problem.
It said spooling.
With the spooler. Now, when I see an error in
Did you ever fix his system, or did you not fix his system?
Well, this was 6 o'clock. I told them it was a very simple problem because the problem was obviously within the XP software, there were always like 1,000 bugs, and they were all taken care of. All I did was go home at 6:30, get the right patch. I'd be back the next morning, put it in, and we're back in business. And at that point, Mr. Kiley went ballistic. He started cursing at me. He was yelling at me. He said he was going to call the police and have me arrested for destroying his business. I'm 80 years old. I have to admit, Your Honor, watch my language, he scared the something out of me, and I left. That night at home, I went on the internet. Sure enough, within 5 minutes, I had the patch, and he did not.
And then, so throughout this time, did you ever alert him to how much money was racking up? Because you're charging by the hour, and it's taking you a really long time to figure things out.
He knew,
and
he knew,
you know,
my fee. He knew my fee.
Mr. Kiley, let me ask you a question. He did retrieve your hard drive, and he did install the software, however long it took him to do so. And you have paid, and he did give you a refurbished Dell, and you have paid him a total of what?
Zero.
Zero. So explain to me your defense.
Mr. Sterbakoff did come on the 31st, which was Halloween, on a Saturday morning. And the day he came, he brought it home. He said, let me look at it, let me evaluate it. Did call me and say to me, I think I can solve your problem very inexpensively.
What was the problem? You have two computers there and one of them wasn't working, or what?
Right, which was is considered the master. The master was not working. So he said, I can solve your problem.
How old is that computer?
I bought it and it was already there. So it's anywhere from 5 to 8 years old.
When you saw that hours and hours are racking up, did you ever stop him and say, hey, listen, you know, I'm throwing good money after bad here?
Mr. Sterbakoff told me that the job should take an hour to 2 hours to do everything and to download the new software as well. And he was going to be charging me about $75 an hour. So I'm expecting $200, $300 bill. And Mr. Sterbakoff, to be honest, has been in the business a very, very long time. And I hate to say it, but technology has passed him by, Judge.
Okay, and why do you say that?
The simple first step of connecting the XP system in my dry cleaner, when he brought it from his home, he did not know how to do it. And I said, let's call the software company. Within 5-8 minutes, they told him what to do. And he said, oh, I forgot all about that. I haven't dealt with an XP in several years. Okay, I'll do that. Now it's time to download software. And Mr. Sterbakoff was talking to the software company, not only the software company, but the man who created the program. Okay, and he spoke to him, and Mr. Sterbakoff could not understand him because of his accent and asked him to email him every bit of directions that he had. Judge, this was my week from Saturday until Wednesday, finally.
Mr. Kiley, why did you pay him zero? I understand why you didn't pay him $2,000. You don't feel that that's a fair amount. So I get that, but you've paid him zero. So you're not exactly on the moral high ground.
Well, Judge, he never really accomplished what he said.
Well, you have a computer that's his. Excuse me. You have a computer that's his, right? So when you say he never accomplished anything, that's not true. You have a computer that's his, and you haven't paid for it. You also have the software ended up being installed by him into that computer, the software that you use. But it needed a patch. Do you have any testimony? You ended up hiring somebody else to get the thing to finally work at the end. And that somebody else who you hired, do you have an affidavit from that person about what they did for the $120 you paid them?
I have an invoice that I supplied as well.
PC will not power on. Open chassis and remove dust. And then this first invoice for $80. All right. Do you have anything from the actual vendor, the actual software company?
I do. I also turned in 2 receipts from them. They charged me 2 separate hours for $75 each.
Hi, Darren. This is our experience with Charlie, the tech computer guy. In the beginning of November, we got a call from Charlie. We tried to explain to him how to do it and that it should only take about 1 hour to complete the task. First, he needed help setting up the new Windows XP computer, which I found odd because he was a hardware expert. Well, after teaching him how to set up the hardware, he said, oh, now I remember, it's been a while. But after a few days with him on the phone and numerous emails, he was still not able to complete the task. We told the owner to find another tech person because it was a very simple task. Okay. Not very flattering to you, Mr. Sterbakoff. Mr. Sterbakoff, if you had told Mr. Kiley it's going to cost you $2,000, do you think Mr. Kiley would have said, yeah, have at it?
I doubt it, but I had no idea at the beginning that it would go that way.
Exactly. And, I understand. But see, at some point, stop. Mr. Sterbakoff, at some point, you have got to tell Mr. Kiley, listen, it's going to take me X. It's not just a carte blanche to end up taking, how many hours are you billing him for here? How many hours is this?
19 and a half.
I don't know what reason it would possibly take 19 hours to get to the bottom of the problem here. It shouldn't take 19 hours. All right, I am going to order Mr. Kiley to pay Mr. Sterbakoff $350 for both the computer and his services. That is my verdict.
Mr. Kiley, let me ask you first. You're going to have to give the plaintiff $350. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that was a fair judgment, to be honest with you. I do have a piece of equipment that I got from Mr. Sterbakoff. He did attempt to do the work, even though, like I mentioned, technology has passed him by. He did his best. He's a good man. If that's what the judge ordered, that's what I'll take care of.
Well, you're being very decent and very kind. Let me ask one other. Do you think it's time you really upgraded your equipment and bought some new computers? What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I'm in the process of doing that right now as we speak.
You are? Well, good for you. All right. Mr. Sterbakoff, this wasn't too helpful for you. I know you wanted $2,400. The judge has ordered Mr. Kiley to give you $350. What are you thinking?
The libel that he said about my experience is very upsetting because it is not true. I have a number of XP customers. One, I had 5 XP computers all networked together. I work with XP all the time.
Well, listen, that's good. I'm glad you have good other customers. Mr. Sterbakoff, we're going to have to wrap it up. I'm sorry. You're only getting $350. I know it didn't work out well for you in this situation, but hopefully in others it will work out. In any event, that'll wrap up this lengthy dispute. Harvey, what are you thinking about this?
Doug, this is an interesting case about when you have add-ons to a deal that you make. In this case, you have computer work where it takes longer perhaps than it should have, and all of a sudden it starts racking up more and more money. The person who does that work needs to make it clear what the terms are in terms of add-on work. And the best thing to do, obviously, is to get approval each time you need to do an add-on. But if you don't do that and you have made no deal in terms of additional expenses, you're going to lose out.
Hey, Judge John, tell us something we don't know about Judge Marilyn. Oh, geez. Thanks, Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy, it's your lucky day because I'm not going to tell you one thing you don't know about Judge Marilyn. I'm going to tell you many things.
You better, well, listen, you're going home with me, not Jimmy, so you better be careful what you say.
All right. But let's see. When I met you, you were driving a 3-pedal car with a manual clutch. So you can drive a manual, a standard transmission.
Correction, I could drive them. I haven't done that in a long time.
I bet you could do it in a heartbeat like that. Your favorite drink is a glass of red wine.
I don't think that's much of a secret if people have seen me take out the recycling during COVID.
Oh, God. You want to put on a disguise.
You put a disguise when you take out the recycling.
Oh, my God. Okay, let me see. One more.
I think that's enough.
No, one more. I got one more. This is a flattering one.
Okay.
I did see her do a 4-minute plank, and a really good one, a couple weeks ago. So she keeps after it, and I was impressed, let's just say, because I'm not sure I could do it for 4 minutes. I could do it for a while, but 4 minutes is a long time. So keep that up.